Okay guys, this is the new GOTRAX Rival electric scooter. It boasts a top speed of 15.5 miles an hour with a 12.5 mile range, and it completely folds up for convenient storage, and also if you are like on a bus or going to work or school. So I personally have never ridden an electric scooter, so I'm really excited to crack into this and see what it's like. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed and see what's inside. All right, so within a few minutes here, we've already got it mostly assembled. And I'm using the tools that GOTRAX sent along with it. And so far everything's working out just fine. So what I'm gonna do here is just finish up connecting the brake wire here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing charged up and see what it does. Okay, so I did get it all assembled here. And really, it was very simple. I've assembled a lot more difficult bikes and things like that. The trickiest part for this, for me, was just the brake lever. And basically with that, you just don't want to have this installed right away. Before you install this, it's much easier to run the brake line through and then go ahead and slide this down and connect it all. So now that we've done that, see what this looks like. All right, a little bit goopy, but that could be cleaned up easily. And we'll take this off. There we go. And I can see a little headlight action there. But let's go ahead and just power this up and see what it looks like. Hold down the power button. And we do have to charge it up, so let's go ahead and charge it up, and then we'll take it outside. Now, just to mention, this is my very, very first time ever on an electric scooter, and the GOTRAX is a kick to start or push to start, which means that you are going to have to start kicking before the motor will kick on. So it will not start, the motor will not engage from a dead stop by itself. You probably have to be going about 2 or 3 miles an hour, and then hit the throttle and it'll start to go. And for being my first time, it was very, very easy to hop on and just start riding. And you start building up speed and confidence the more you ride. And I think the GOTRAX does a good job with their tuning. It just, again, it was very easy for us to pick up. Here, my wife even had to get in on some of the fun, and she was able to pick this up with no problem, which is a testament to GOTRAX and their products. All right, guys, we are going to try a night ride, and I do not know how this is going to go, so we're going to give it a shot. Hopefully this microphone doesn't pick up too much. We got this on. Click it once for a headlight, and let's go ahead and take a look at our ride. Looking pretty good. I do have a light up on my hat, and we are gonna give this a whirl. And it did rain today, so I'm gonna try and avoid puddles. Now, one thing I am really liking with this is that the cruise control works at any speed. So right there, I got it locked at 6.9. And away we go. Now, I do want to shoot a lot more videos with this. I'm actually pretty excited here to take this on some longer trips and see what it can do for like a range test. But so far, we are doing good. And actually over here, there's a big hill I'd like to test out. I'd have to check and see what the grade is, but I know when I had my my hoverboards, they had a hard time making it up this. I'd have to kind of do a zigzag side to side. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and
maneuver this light up just a click. There we go. And the things you do for YouTube. With this GoPro mounted, I can barely see. So this will be interesting. One thing I should probably try is without my headlight on my head and just see how good the light is. It is brisk here too, so it is currently 52 degrees. So we're going to see how this does. Woo! A little nighttime top speed going uphill. Let's try going this way once. You know, it's actually kind of scary because I rode this for the first time just this weekend, so just 2 days ago. And now for some reason it's easier for me to top this out in the total darkness, which is very odd. All right, so this is a steep hill. And right now I've got it full throttle and we're at 6.6, 6.5. 6.6, and we're climbing it. Now the cruise control just kicked in, so I can release. And we did lose a bar of battery. I'm gonna click it off. I don't want to go too fast at night here. Oh, as I promised, let's go ahead and turn off my front light here. So my headlamp is off. This is the light from just the scooter. It's actually not terrible. We'll get out of the street lights here. One thing I'll have to do too is kind of show what the reflectors look like on this, I think. See how good those are. I'm kind of curious actually. And I should have put my gloves on. All right, there's a trail over here somewhere. It's right there. I'm gonna kick my headlamp back on. All right, here we go. Hey guys, I'm actually really enjoying my time on this. This is a lot of fun. I'll be curious if going downhill, if we're going to gain back any range. So let's see. Whew, there we go. Now the one thing other people have mentioned is it's really important when you're braking to lean back. And I can definitely confirm that stopping time is greatly reduced when you're leaning back. Now, if we're kind of talking about some more of a GOTRAX review standpoint, I'm loving this thing, absolutely loving it. I find the throttle to be very smooth. I know on some of the really expensive ones, they talk about a pure sine wave. That's needed to kind of smoothen that out, but I don't really get much jerkiness with this. And especially when the cruise control is on, it seems like it even is less so of an issue. All right, here we go. We're gonna go up another steep hill. This one isn't as steep as the other one, but let's just see what it does. Woo. This is a rough road. And right there, the cruise control kicked on for me, going 7. And I don't even believe that's full throttle up this. Should we stomp it and see? Oh yeah, definitely was not full throttle. Wow. So when I was looking around at scooters, it seemed like this being 250 watts was, more on the small end. But I can confirm for a beginner, I weigh about 155 pounds. And this thing is plenty powerful for me. Now I'm sure once I get riding this more and more, I have a feeling that as you get used to the power, it doesn't quite seem like as much. But definitely from a beginner standpoint, I think this is an excellent way to start. I don't think you need to be starting off with something that can go 30 to 60 miles an hour. I think that's just way too much for a beginner. That might just be me. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, maybe this is something I should have waited for more of a daytime video, is all of the issues you can have with more expensive stuff, and it seems like scooters are no exception to that rule. And what I mean by that is you can spend $3-4 grand on one of these. And do I dare go on this busy street? Oh, we're gonna live life on the edge. Little top speed test. There she goes. 15.5, baby. So once you get more expensive stuff, I'm hearing of people having all sorts of issues, and it's like, oh, it's great that things are replaceable and you can get a new battery and a new inverter, you can get, new motors, but it's like, when you have motors that are putting out thousands of watts, that's a big load on a battery. You wear through tires quicker because you have more weight, and because you have more weight, you chew through brakes quicker. So it's just like, I don't know. I guess to each their own, but I can never see spending that kind of money on something like this. I think this is kind of your sweet spot. And what do you guys think? Should we shut this headlamp off again? I think it's better if I show you. And actually, while we're doing this, let's see if we have some reflectors. Oh yeah, look at that. Really nice yellow reflector there. Do we have any on the sides? We do have it on the side. I like that. And let's go ahead and shut off this headlamp. Oop. There you go. Talk about a newbie thing. Leave the kickstand down. And actually, while we're stopped again, let's just take another look here at the display. So one click button turns that headlight off, turn it back on. This does not have speed modes, so a lot of these have 1 gear, 2 gear. I really like that. This just has the 1. I think that's the way they should all be. And there's how it looks.
This scooter peaks at 40 watts when charging and takes about 4.5 hours to completely charge from dead. Now, one interesting thing is the light is turned green on the charger, which would tell you that it's fully charged, but the watt meter actually says it's still pulling 10.5 watts. This will actually drop to below 1 watt when it's actually fully charged. So my advice to you is, if you don't have a watt meter to use, after that light turns green, leave it plugged in for about another hour, and it'll trickle charge all the way up to 100%. And after my ride, I took some temperature measurements. The hub motor is 75 degrees, which isn't bad at all. The battery really didn't heat up at all, which is great. And the charger did heat up to about 93 degrees, so that was about the warmest part of the whole equation. We've got a little bit of daylight here, so my buddy and I are going to go for a ride, and it's about 55 degrees. We're going to see how this does. 1.8 miles. It's pretty cold, and we got full battery range. So we got a nice little resting spot. There we go. We're having a good time. All right, so we took another little stop here. We're at 3.06 miles. GOTRAX is doing fantastic.
Still only at 1 bar lost, 3 bars remaining, so I'd say maybe roughly 75%. It's starting to get a little dark, so we'll probably have to turn the light on pretty soon, but I am loving this thing. The range has been really good. Overall, very, very happy with it. I think it's gonna outlast my son. Looks like he's getting tired. But yeah, it's doing very, very well. Had to use the bell a few times. The brakes are extremely grabby. So those are doing awesome. And as you can tell, they're disc brake and pretty decent tire tread on there. It is a front hub motor, so it is front wheel drive. And there we go. At the end of our trip, 4.15 miles. And look at that, we still have 3 bars. So we're gonna have to go ahead and do a full depth range test on this thing. What do you think? Is this thing nice? Pretty fast, huh? Yeah.
Now, putting away the GOTRAX is very simple. It's very easy to unfold it as well as refolding it. Just pulling a pin and dropping that bar, drops right down and then automatically clicks in at the fender. All right, guys, so my thoughts after 1 week with this GOTRAX is I really love it, and I think from a price point standpoint and where this is marketed, this is what the majority of people getting into a scooter are gonna need. Again, there's scooters that go much faster, have better battery life, and that's more, I think, of a want than a need in most cases. And this thing does everything well. The 250 watt motor's got a lot of torque, which is awesome, and all that motor power is right in the front wheel. The back wheel does the braking. Battery is in the stem there. So I like that. One thing I do wish it had would be some sort of a way to know how many miles that you've gone. So again, if we pick this up here and we turn it on the display, we get our speed, which is awesome. We get our battery life, and we get an indicator for the light, and that's it. And if you hold this down, or actually if you click it, leave it 3 times, it'll change it to kilometers an hour. 3 more clicks and it goes back to miles per hour. So that's really good. I like the grips. They're very comfortable. Didn't get any blisters from using them. One thing that I absolutely love is this cruise control system. So at any speed this will engage. So even if we go part down and you hold it for 10 seconds, it'll take over, which makes it a lot more comfortable to not have to have your thumb on this all the time or have a separate button to push. I was really a big fan of that. So I think they did a good job on that. Right here, we do have a plastic holder for like a bag, you know, and anything else you might want to hang here if it's a backpack. I wouldn't put a ton of weight here because again, you are going to have to steer. So that's something to get used to. One thing I do like as well is this kickstand. It has nice spring action to it. It stays up well. It does rattle a little bit over bigger bumps, but nothing too crazy. So honestly, guys, after a week and putting on roughly 12 miles at this point, I really, really like this thing, and I'm gonna put a ton of miles on this so I can fully stress test it. I will be doing a range test, so stay tuned for that. And just wanna thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.